What is up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then it's just welcome to my channel. Now, welcome back. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button because you will not be disappointed. You guys, I have a lot of puppy updates before we get into today's case, which is one hell of a ride. And I got a lot of thoughts. Somebody gonna be upset with me today. As far as Bella and Blue, I know I've been really transparent as far as what's going on with them, their dynamic, how it changed, and we almost had to send Bella on up the river, girl. She's still a work in progress. The thing is, now I'm trying to get her more involved with other dogs in social settings so that she can put the things that she's learned in training to use and to work, right? Now, if you don't care for said updates, I will put in the pinned comment a timestamp that you can click on and start at the story. But for everybody else who cares, here we go. So if you don't know and you're new here, a little boy Blue, my baby, he's 6 years old. A little bit after I moved to Houston, I got him a dog because I felt like he wanted company, right? Long story short, Bella went from being obsessed over him to resource guarding and fighting him, not only him, but also being really aggressive with strange dogs, which she's kind of always been really aggressive with strange dogs. As for their relationship, things are very good. I have no complaints at all. It's actually really funny because Blue set his boundaries and he allows some things to happen. She likes to antagonize him. Bella is a menace to society, an entire menace, okay? And she's just so cute. So people, they don't believe it or they don't think so until you see her in action. Blue likes to cuddle with him a teddy bear and lay down, have a little peaceful nap. She likes to sit on him. And if he doesn't respond or react, she'll grab his little teddy bear and slowly drag it away. She's an antagonist. She's looking for him to react. So she still does that, but it's more playful than anything. And if she makes it away with his stuff, he'll chase after her and they'll play. But if he is not in the mood, he will growl at her. And she, instead of reacting to him like she used to, she's so dramatic. She acts like her feelings are just so hurt. One day he was cuddling with me and she tried to weasel her way in the middle, take his spot and push him out. He growled at her. She went all the way to the edge of the bed. She acted like her feelings were just so hurt. She wouldn't come to me. It was just a whole mess. Come here, mommy. Belly, come here, mama. Mommy. Come here, girl. So dramatic. Definitely at the point where she has realized in her little mind that Blue is not a threat to her resources. So they're good. They're back to sunbathing together, taking naps together, loving on each other. I don't have any complaints as far as their dynamic, which is great. However, I took them to the dog park the other day. Blue is a swimmer. He loves to swim. He is a great swimmer. It gives Blue Michael Phelps all day. Bella is not a swimmer, but she likes to go to the park, and just mosey around. I posted some footage to my Instagram story, but I didn't post anything publicly of Bella. I know people were like, was Bella swimming? Where is Bella? Bella was there. Bella had a ball. But I didn't post her because she had to wear her mesh mask. And this one lady at the dog park was really trying to give me a hard time of it. I'll get into that in a second. I just didn't want a bunch of her in my comments and DMs saying, why Bella has a mask on? It's too hot for that. She shouldn't have a mask on. And I'm like, child, nobody knows my dog better than me. Trust and believe. Bella's made major progress. She becomes a bit overwhelmed. She's not quite sure what to do with all of these emotions and feelings. And then she has this devil on her shoulder, child. Her intrusive thoughts win a lot of the time. Before training, they were winning 100%. 100% of the time, girl. It was always the intrusive thoughts winning. Now, we down to about 51% of the time they win. And it's so funny because you could visually see her contemplating. You can just see it in her body language. Just should I do it or should I not? Sometimes she does it, okay? So because we're still in that space, I have to have her wear these out in public. We can't avoid the dog park. She needs to learn how to socialize and be amongst other dogs and play and be nice and know that everything is okay. She doesn't have to defend herself. If she gets overwhelmed, she's still safe. I'm trying to get her to realize all of these things. But in the meantime, I know my dog, and one of her triggers right now that kind of brings her out of the sunken place is a wagging tail on a big dog. I don't know if it's because she doesn't have a tail, Blue doesn't have a tail, so she's not really used to the tail thing, but she'll see it and you can just see her like following the tail, and baby, and she'll kind of back and forth a little bit, pace. Sometimes she'll pace her paws, and it's like she is fighting the urge to chomp it. But sometimes my baby girl, like I said, sometimes intrusive thoughts lose. And sometimes it's just a little random nipping that she does. Like, I'll put a video because I did catch her on camera with a Bernedoodle and a giant poodle. And she was playing with them fine. And then randomly, she just tried to attack. The mesh, it does not restrict her breathing at all. It's made for her breed. She can breathe fine. She can even drink water fine, even though like every 30 minutes I was taking the mask off of her, putting her on leash, letting her have water, letting her cool down or whatever. It's not harmful at all. But this one lady at the dog park was like, why does he have on a mask? And I gave her the short story of why. Like, she's a reactive dog. She's in training, but because she's not all the way there and she is unpredictable, I put the mask on her to keep her from biting another dog. And she's like, well, just take it off and see. I mean, she's got to be hot. Like, girl, first of all, no. I know my animal. She is going to bite. I know my dog. Furthermore, I don't know these dogs. So one dog might not take it as seriously and another dog might be offended and react. Like, I don't know these people's animals and how they react. They might grab my girl and tear her leg off. I don't know. It's just irresponsible as a pet parent for me to just have her off leash, unmasked, knowing these things. No, she's gonna have this little mask on, baby. These are her training wheels until she learns that she's safe. Like, my dog is in training weekly and I see her responding and reacting to other dogs. I know how she's gonna respond. But anyway, the lady was getting on my nerves a little bit. She kept on pressing, like, just take it off for a little bit and see. Like, okay, then my dog runs down on a strange dog, bites her. The dog bites my baby. They fight. One of them dies. All because you wanted to see, girl. Like, that just makes no sense. She got on my nerves a little bit. I ain't gonna hold you. Got on my nerves. So I didn't post any footage of her from the park because I didn't want people all in my DMs like, why do you have a mask on her? Da, 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 da. Like, Bella had a time at the park. Blue had the time of his life at the park. Yeah, it was a fun day. She did scrape up one of her paw pads pretty bad and I had to kind of wrap it up to keep it, you know, from touching the ground. And child, she's pretty good at this point. But aside from that, she had a great time. And her and Blue, they're getting along fine. She does still get jealous. I'll be rubbing him and I'll notice that she's looking like, I want some love. But she is not reactive, which I am grateful for because that was my biggest concern. One last thing before I get into the story, baby. Mother is having her a little piece of margarita. Yes, I am. And one of y'all sent me this glass, this True Crime Junkie glass. And I love it, baby. Sipping out of my little glass straw. I've had this glass for quite a while. Somebody sent this to me a long time ago. Fun fact, anybody who's ever sent me anything, aside from Miss Girl that sent me the cookies, girl, because I ate them, I still have, like, all the letters y'all sent me. I have this big bag, like, full of letters. And just recently, I bought a pack of cards, like a huge pack of thank you cards for me to write you guys little short letters back. I wish I had thought about that when I first got my P.O. box, but I didn't. So now I'll try to write the girls back. I got 2 areas now where I keep everything that you guys have sent me, and I've never thrown away anything. I appreciate y'all. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Today we are discussing the chaotic case of Cody Johnson and Jordan Graham, his wife. There is a lot to unpack here. Let's get into it. 24-year-old Cody Johnson and 21-year-old Jordan Lynn Graham meet at a church lunch in Montana. And the two of them really connect over their mutual interest in getting married and starting a family of their own. Now, Cody is not as religious as Jordan, but that changes as the two of them spend more time attending church together on a consistent basis. Both described as good people, friends and family of both of them really support this budding relationship. Cody falls head over heels for Jordan, telling his mother that she is the woman that he plans to marry one day. He talks a lot about what their future together would look like and how they'll have all of these babies and raise this beautiful family. And he just cannot wait to be this great husband and father. Jordan makes it very clear in the beginning that she is waiting until marriage to engage in any kind of physical fool-la-la. And Cody has no issue with this. He vows to respect this and wait for her. The two appear to be this match made in heaven to most people around them. But to Cody's best friend, things feel a little bit off. Cody is madly in love, but Jordan doesn't appear to have the same feelings, and she does not quite reciprocate his affection or adoration. And this is not just simply the best friend's perception of what's going on. Cody also feels this disconnect, and he confides in his best friend about the misalignment. But he does feel that there is hope for the two of them. This is the one that he wants to be with forever. And so if she just needs a little more time, he is perfectly fine with that. Cody tries to spend as much of his time with Jordan, and she seemingly always looks for an excuse to avoid these plans. Things between them were very weird, very bizarre. They never go on solo dates alone. Instead, she always brings a friend along or suggests that they both bring friends and make this like a little group thing. Their mutual friends never once see the young couple kiss. They barely hold hands or showcase any type of physical affection. Cody would flirt with her and she'd always seem uncomfortable by it. She never really flirted back. It was just kind of like, okay. It was just really, really awkward, really strange. So, of course, it is to everyone's surprise when, after a little more than a year of dating, Cody proposes to Jordan and she accepts. Her friends are very taken aback by her agreeing to marry him because she does not seem all that interested in him. They believe that she wants to be a wife and a mother, all of the things, but they are not convinced that she wants all of these things with Cody. During the process of planning their wedding, she is super excited. She's enjoying the wedding planning process, but as they become closer and closer to the big day, that excitement dwindles. She is speaking less and less about the big day and becomes increasingly irritated and agitated when anyone brings it up or asks her anything about upcoming wedding and life as a wife thereafter. There are several times that she actually expresses to her best friend that she's having cold feet, second thoughts, and asks her thoughts. Like, do you think I'm doing the right thing? And her friend would always tell her, like, this is something I cannot answer for you. You have to ask yourself that question. Do you feel like you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing? And if this is not something you have your whole heart in, then of course don't do it. Despite her reservations, on June 29th of 2013, the young couple walks down the aisle. Cody Johnson stands at the end of it as he watches his very soon-to-be wife come down, bawling her eyes out and looking down at the floor. I mean, she is hysterical, and not once does she glance up at her soon-to-be husband. Guests noticed that this does not just happen as they're walking down the aisle. Her looking down at the floor continues for most of the ceremony and the reception. She appeared to be very uncomfortable and out of place, and she only really smiles during photos. The photos are also something that his friends find to be odd because it's like she's putting on a show. It was as if she wanted happy pictures and she was very mindful of how her pictures would look. And so she poses very happily for those, but spends the rest of her time there looking real sad. Immediately after the wedding ceremony, Jordan expresses extreme regret, texting her best friend, "I should be happy, but I'm just not." She sends more texts to this best friend telling her that everything from the wedding ceremony all the way through the first night was just horrible. And when her best friend asks, wait, like what happened after, what happened the night of, she tells her that this is something she only wants to discuss in person. She doesn't want to text it or talk about it over the phone. But when the two of them meet up in person to discuss it, she does not tell her what happened. She does make it quite clear what did not happen though. The two of them did not consummate the marriage. She'd lied and told Cody that she was menstruating so she would not have to do it. And she says that she had planned on riding this Red River as far as it would take her. On the contrary, though, Cody is on cloud nine. He is in wedded bliss and trying to be a very patient husband. When he speaks to his friends about his wedding day and being married, he tells them it was one of the best days of his life and he is extremely happy to have married the love of his life, that he is on a high and excited about what the two of their lives are going to be like. 8 days after the two of them tie the knot is the last time that anyone hears from Cody. He is reported missing on July 8th of 2013 when he does not show up for work. And he had last been seen having ice cream with his brand new wife Jordan after church service. So friends and family naturally go to her to ask where Cody is, and right off she simply tells them she does not know. She also seems completely unbothered by his sudden disappearance. And the more they question her, the more agitated Jordan becomes. At one point, she even takes off her wedding ring and throws it, just flings it across the room in frustration. So next they decide to go and speak with the police. They file a missing persons report, and naturally the police are looking at the spouse. When they bring her in for questioning, she all of a sudden has a little bit more information than she had before when it was just his friends and family wanting to know. The day that Cody had gone missing, she was out of the home and she received a text from him stating that he was going on a ride with some friends and that he would be back. He does not say when. He does not tell her anything about the friends other than the fact that they are in from out of town, and that's all the information that she has. She had actually pulled into the home as he was leaving in this dark tinted black car with Washington plates. She did not catch a glimpse of these friends. She doesn't know anything about them. The black car, the plates, is all the information that she has, aside from the fact that Cody had previously mentioned if he ever had friends come in from out of town, he would take them to Glacier Park. So that might be a good place for them to start looking. Now, when asked to see those text messages, she no longer has them in her phone to show. Police think that's pretty odd, and they also feel like her demeanor is pretty odd for a woman who has a brand new husband that's missing, especially just 8 days after their wedding. And the officers are not the only ones who notice her odd demeanor. Her best friend is noticing that Miss Girl is the happiest she has seen her in a really long time. The two of them had gone to get ice cream. Jordan gets hers on a cone and gleefully skips while she's eating it, almost childlike. And this, of course, makes her friend a bit uneasy because it's very strange. Cody's friends and family decide not to just sit around and wait on the police to do their job. They want to go out and see if they can find anything that could lead them to Cody. They are constantly looking at his social medias. They're checking to see if there was anything posted to his social media that would be a red flag. They're watching his accounts to see if there's any type of activity at all. I mean, they're looking any and everywhere for at least a sign. Meanwhile, his brand new wife, Jordan, does not lift a finger to help. And every time she has to go over the details of the 8 days they spent married before he disappeared, the details change. She says she and Cody had not been fighting in the days leading up to his disappearance, but text messages from him to his friends say different. Authorities put up missing persons flyers for Cody throughout the neighborhood, but they are not successful in locating him, nor are they receiving any leads. That is until Jordan receives an email from one of Cody's friends named Tony S. And Tony S says that Cody is dead, that he had fallen off of a cliff while on a trip to Glacier National Park, and that this search should be called off. And this email account that this strange email had come from had been created that same day. Jordan shows this email to a friend of hers, and she is completely emotionless. She's basically just like, look at this email I got from a friend of his. Her friend, on the other hand, is completely shocked by this email and urges her to show it to the police. And although she is reluctant, she decides to go ahead and do so. Now, investigators on the case had already noticed a lot of inconsistencies with her stories, and they already had their antennas up. But when she comes barging in with this email from an account created the same day it was sent, this just makes them even more suspicious of her. When they express their curiosity as to like what exactly happened to him, and not just physically finding him, Jordan is quite confused as to why they won't just go retrieve his body and just let that part go. Like, who needs to know the why? If his friend said that he had fallen off of this cliff and they go there and find him, why not just leave well enough alone? You know? Now, this is taking place just 4 days after his disappearance. We are now just 4 days into Cody being missing. And with this new clue, she decides to just go out with a search team of a couple of her friends and take a look for themselves to see if they can find him. Driving up, she is singing songs on the radio. She is waving her hand out of the window in great spirits, wearing a pair of Cody's sunglasses, just cheerful, like Britney Spears in Crossroads, as if they're on this fun road trip. Everyone thought it was quite strange and unnerving that she's just so happy, dancing, laughing, and driving his car. She also mentions how Cody had told her that this was a place that he wanted to see before he died. Just really, really weird energy. The group spends hours scouring the park looking for any sign of Cody. The group minus Jordan. She seems completely unfazed and unmotivated, as if this was not her brand new husband's body, or anybody's body for that matter, that they're searching for. During their search, though, they find nothing at all and decide to go back home before they lose daylight. Day 2, Jordan returns with her search crew, and instead of starting where they had left off with their search the day before, Jordan drives past that area and all kinds of trails and bushes that they should be looking in. When her friends bring it to her attention that, hey, you know, we should stop and look here, or perhaps we should look over there, she tells them, no, I just feel like I know where he is, and said that God was sending her on the path to him. She leads the group to a cliff that has a 200-foot drop, looks over it, very coldly states, oh my gosh, it's him. There he is. Her friend is like, girl, what? And she's like, it's him. I see him. It's him. They all quickly run to the edge of the cliff to look over, and surely enough, there he is. 16-year-old Michael is so distraught at the sight that he literally has to crawl back to the car, crying after seeing his body, which had gone down head first and suffered a lot of physical damage from the steep fall and impact. On the drive back home, Jordan states that now that they've found Cody, they could just have a funeral and leave the cops out of it. And at his funeral, which takes place literally 16 days after his wedding date, she is sitting there in the front on her phone, checking messages, looking at social media, dry-eyed and chipper, sitting next to her own parents, who are visibly distraught, as one would have expected his wife to be. Her knowing where to find him from this mysterious email, and the way she's been acting, how much her story changes, by now everybody is suspecting that she has something to do with this. Like, nobody believes this story about him and these friends from Washington. When questioned by police again, which she was not expecting to happen because she had solved the case, they asked her if she too had gone to Glacier National Park with Cody that day, and she tells them no, that she had not. But the surveillance footage that they had been able to retrieve tell a different story. Clear as day, they show the two of them entering Glacier National Park together, driving Cody's car. They're also able to confirm via cell phone towers that she had been there with him, cell phone just pinging all over the place. And that is not all they found out. The IP address of the email from Tony S. is registered to Jordan's parents' home, and the email had actually been sent from her stepfather's computer. Now, the FBI confronts Jordan with this plethora of unfavorable evidence that suggests that she knows a little bit more than she is letting on, and she is lying about a lot of the story that she has told thus far. Up until now, she had held her composure. Now, she didn't hold her story together that well, but As far as emotions, stoic. When she is confronted with all of this information, she immediately breaks down and cracks like the lips of Tyrone Biggums' child. Through her tears, she manages to make a very emotional confession. Just as people had suspected, she had pushed Cody off the cliff, but it was an accident. Now, the problem with it being an accident is these injuries sustained don't quite add up or align with an accident. As I mentioned before, he had gone down head first. And not only that, there was a little blindfold down there with him. And as for that blindfold, she actually has an explanation. She says that the two of them were at the park at night, so it was dark, and she had told him, be careful. And he tells her that he could navigate this area with a blindfold on. And then he proceeds to pull out a blindfold and walk around. Then he walks towards her and grabs her jacket. She tells him, no, stop, let go, and pushes him. And accidentally, he goes over the edge of the cliff. Does this sound realistic? No. Do they believe her? Of course not. But as for her, this is her story for right now, and she is sticking to it. They are certain that whatever had truly transpired that night between the two of them was planned and deliberate. Their suspicions are confirmed when they speak to friends of his who informed them that earlier that day, Cody had told them that Jordan said she had a surprise for him later that night. And they all thought that finally she would be ready to do the do and consummate the marriage. Jordan is then officially placed under arrest and charged with not only the murder of her new husband, Cody Johnson, but also making false statements to police officers. She pleads not guilty and testifies that she had been having second thoughts about marrying Cody, and when the two of them had gone for a walk at Glacier National Park, she had told him just that. But he did not receive it well. He became very upset, and the two of them began to argue. And at this point, Cody becomes physical with her. He's very aggressive. He grabs her arm, which really upsets her. She feels like at this point, she's in danger. She needs to defend herself. And as soon as he turns his back to her, she just shoves him with both hands, pushing him right over the edge of the cliff, 200 feet down, face first. She says, quote, "I wasn't thinking about where we were. I just pushed." Now, she also claims that she was so angry that she was not thinking clearly, and pushing him off a cliff was not the forethought. It was not intentional. Emotions were just high, and she acted impulsively. Afterwards, she did not look over the edge to see if Cody was alive. She didn't look to see what things looked like down there. Nothing. She simply got in his car and left. She did not tell anyone what happened. She simply went home and resumed life as if it had never happened and Cody had never existed. That is until people started knocking on her door asking her questions. When asked what was her issues or her reservations about their marriage, Jordan says that she feared having to fulfill her sexual duties within the marriage and that she felt physically ill when she thought about the act of consummating this marriage, and that Cody had expressed wanting her to engage in all sorts of sexual acts that she felt uncomfortable with. She says that Cody wanted her to make him happy and he didn't care if she was miserable. Moments before closing arguments from the lawyers, Jordan shocks the entire courtroom when she suddenly changes her plea from not guilty to guilty, accepting a plea deal for second-degree murder. She is sentenced to 30 years in prison on March 27th of 2014, and she is not eligible for parole. Maybe she knew they were about to lose, so she decided to fold, and she made the right choice. My little margarita has completely transformed into just a cocktail. But here are my thoughts before I go. With a lot of these people, something is mentally wrong, like some screws are loose. Something is wrong with this woman, for real though. Like, why did you have to marry him, girl? Why? It didn't even give insurance money. It gave mentally unwell. but not like me. Like, to take 16-year-old brother out there knowing you are about to find his body is nuts. Whether or not it was premeditated, I'm leaning more so towards it was, specifically because of this blindfold. Like, why do you just conveniently have that? She obviously wasn't into Cody, but I don't think she was into men at all. Quiet as a kid. I don't think sis was into men. I think for her religious beliefs, her family, and all of that, she felt like she had to get married. And once she did it, she couldn't function. And her screws were already loose. Like, I genuinely think that's what was happening. I think sis was battling demons, or maybe she was the demon. That concludes today's video. I cannot wait to hear y'all thoughts down below. This was a wild one. It is just so unnecessary. Like, she didn't have to do it. In 30 years is crazy. Yeah, leave your thoughts down below. Like the video if you have not. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. As always, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace. Back to normal as okay. Oh, look who it is. Will you look at that? Speak of the minutes and they appear. Y'all see my nails? I love my nails so much. It's like, it's dipped in gold. It looks dipped in gold. I don't know if you can. They look dipped in gold. I love them so much. I'll post a picture for my Instagram. But when I tell you this set is just soothing my soul, because you know in my mind I'm the golden goddess girl. So I love these. The photos are also something that his finds. And very eager to spend the okay. Has this man gone missing and his okay. Cody's friends and family decide not to just sit around. My child. Hey girl. Hey mommy. Look at this girl. She wanna go outside. So she crying at my door. Or chittering at my door. Hold on, girl. Day 2, not Cody, jeez. Without any type of emotion, very callous and cold and nonchalantly. Is that a word? Gotta be. Okay, I could not do that little bit of line work on the inner side while talking. I'm so sorry about it. They are certain that whatever it transpired, yeah. Yeah. Jordan had told them, okay, Cody had told them that